Welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to talk in English. I wanted to do it because I feel like if I talk in English about books, it's just way more handy because the books are in English. And the only reason I'm not filming any English content is because I'm just a pussy and I'm afraid people will judge me for my accent. But I'm not doing this for anyone, I'm just doing it for myself, and I know that it's my favorite thing to do, to be talking about my passions, and I just feel like I could do that way better if I'm doing it in the language the book is written in. So I just want to try it out. I don't know if I'll stick to it, but this is just a little experience, and it's also just something to challenge my comfort zone. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and then we are going to get started. I am going to talk about 4 books, and I chose to do it because I have to prepare an English oral exam in 2 days, and I haven't really started yet. And I think the best way to prepare is just to talk about the books. So I thought that making a video about it would be a great idea because I love to talk about books, and it's also just great for me to practice. The first book is The Song of Achilles. It's written by Madeline Miller, and this is one of my favorite books of all books. I'm really passionate about this. Then I have 2 books that I'm also really passionate about, The Perks of Being a Wallflower and Normal People. This one I hate, and this one I love, and I have a really strong opinion on them, and I just think that's great to talk about in an exam because teachers just love strong opinions, I feel like. So those 2. And then I have Looking for Alaska. This is a Dutch version, but I cannot find my English version. I have an English version, but it's gone, and this works too. So those are the 4 books I need to prepare, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to start with the book I'm most passionate about. Well, I'm not most passionate about this book, but I'm just the most passionate about talking about this book. It's The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This book is about Charlie. He's a teenager. He goes to high school. He does all the things that other teenagers do because someone told him that he has to participate in order to have a great life and to live life to the fullest. So he does that. He makes friends, he falls in love, he goes to parties, he drinks, he does drugs and all those things. But you just really notice that he is not like the other boys in his grade. He is really observant, he is anxious, he notices details really fast. And that is why I think that he is neurodivergent. This is low-key a hot take because I don't know, I haven't really seen people talk about this a lot, but just the whole thing, how he thinks, how he processes, you really see the experience through his POV, which makes this book not really a book with a big plot, and it's not a lot of tension, it's just normal things and the way he reacts to those things. And that makes the book really special in my opinion. I found it boring at first. I was like, oh, this is not my thing. This book it doesn't have a lot of tension. But that is the whole point. The whole point of the book is to show people that high school isn't great for everyone. He's not normal like the other boys, and he just thinks in a certain way, and you just really notice how he develops and how he thinks and how he sees stuff, which I find really interesting. It's also I also found how mental illness is projected in this book. I found that really interesting because it's written in such a subtle way that you don't even realize that he has PTSD and that he has depression, because for him it's just a normal thing that he is mentally ill. And that is really original in my opinion, because often mental illness is prescribed as something really deep and big and like something really sad, which it is, don't get me wrong, but for the people who are actually mentally ill, it feels often like it's so normal. It feels light-weighted, and that is how it's portrayed in this book. You don't even realize that he is having flashbacks until the end. At least that's what I had, and I think that's great. I think that's so beautiful. And it's really realistic. So that is what I liked about this book. The second book I'm going to be talking about is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I feel like everyone who has the app TikTok on their phone and who reads has heard of this book. It's really popular on booktalk. It's also just really popular in general. And it's about two teenagers, and they just don't feel like that they fit in at all. They don't feel normal. They really have a hard time with functioning in a world that's not made for them, and that is something I relate to because I am neurodivergent, and I also have a really hard time with fitting into a life that is not made for me. But I just feel like you could do so much more with this book. I think these two books had the same goal. Like, both authors wanted to show how it is for people to not fit in a life that is not made for them. But this book had a message and had a statement and had development, and this book just didn't. It is about two teenagers. They have a relationship. They just cannot communicate. Everything goes wrong. It's toxic. It just doesn't work. Both books don't romanticize. This book doesn't romanticize at all. But I feel like you can still make a book with a message, and you can still make a statement, and you can still have a conclusion. I feel like this book didn't have a conclusion besides that life is miserable and life is not made for people, which I don't actually agree with. I just don't align with this book, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is my hot take on Normal People. I'm really sorry. And I want to say that I get why people like this. I just personally don't. Then we go on with Looking for Alaska. I have the Dutch version, so that is why there's not Looking for Alaska on the cover. Looking for Alaska is about Alaska and about Miles, and Miles goes to Culver Creek. That is a boarding school. I think it was a boarding school, where Alaska and two other people live, and they become friends, and they do stuff like smoking cigarettes and doing drugs and drinking and the whole high school experience once again. This book is a young adult, and I feel like I've low-key grown out of this genre just because this was so simple and I expected so much more. And I get why people like this. 12-year-old me would have loved this book. I just don't anymore. And I don't even know what to say because I don't have a really strong opinion about this besides that it's just made for kids and not for me. Yeah, that is my opinion. The story is good. It's about, as I said, a boarding school and about people having their teenage experience there, and then something happens and their whole life changes, which is really a good plot. Don't get me wrong, but it's just not made for me, I think, because I've just low-key grown out of this genre. Then the last book is The Song of Achilles, and this is my favorite book in the entire world. It's about Patroclus and Achilles, and those are two kings. Well, Patroclus is a prince and Achilles is a king, I believe. Don't attack me if it's wrong. But they fall in love. This is an adaptation of the Iliad by Homerus, and Madeline Miller made an adaptation of the book. And oh, this book is so beautiful. There is so much in it. There's love, there's historical elements, there is grief, sadness, but also tension, and oh my god, I don't even know what to say. It's so amazing. I just wanted to keep reading, and I don't read mythological books at all. I just love this. It's so easy to read also. If you don't know anything about mythology and stuff, it's still okay to read. You can read this even without knowing anything about it. I didn't know how the Iliad ended, and that made this book really more interesting to read because I just didn't know anything about it. Really recommend. One of my favorite books because it has everything in it that a book should have in it, in my opinion. These were all the books I wanted to talk about. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. It was something different because I have never filmed any English content before, but yeah, I still wanted to try it out, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you again next time, I hope.